I have with me Charles Fakroa, stockbroker and iBrandTV senior business analyst. Good morning, Charles.
Good morning, Dakbo.
Well,
nice having me.
Yeah, this is my let's say my debut on the show, and it's I'm happy that we're doing this together for the first time.
Okay.
Yeah, how's the week been?
Very cool.
I hope you're excited for the weekend.
Of course.
All right. We'll start with the first story. Looking at the 133 million Nigerians are poor. That's a very staggering number, considering the fact that we're just about 206 million Nigerians according to the last census figure. What do you make of this?
Yes, I am not really surprised. I'm happy with the Statistics Bureau. It shows that they are doing what they are expected to do. And even them admitting that this is the first time they are doing this multi-dimensional poverty index.
Yes.
And you see, in the past, we just be looking at just one dimensional, looking at maybe monetary poverty. But now this multi-dimensional gives them a complete overview of poverty, not just looking at monetary aspect, and you're looking at schooling, that's education, access to basic infrastructure.
But let's look at that number, 133 million, 63% of all Nigerians are poor. Like, isn't that staggering?
Yes, for me it is not even staggering. I might even be tempted to say those figures are a little bit conservative, because this is multi-dimensional. Looking at just maybe about three aspects. Some persons can have money in their bank account. What if they are illiterate? That means they are still in poverty. You could have money in your pocket, you have access to school, but you don't have access to basic infrastructure. You are in poverty. So this survey gives a complete overview of what poverty situation is in the country. And I think it will go a long way, because we've seen the result of this survey now. Now, for those who are in charge of planning and providing infrastructural services and other things in the country, will be in a better position to say, yes, this is the way we are going to go to handle some of these issues. Of course, this government, though they have just a few months to go, when they came in 2015, their mantra was to lift over 100 million Nigerians out of poverty. And today we are seeing that over 100 million are,
in poverty.
But again, I think the figures have come to the fore, and they say once you identify a problem, of course, it's half solved.
But one thing we should know about the Nigerian government is when this kind of numbers come out, they're always defensive about it. But this is coming from an agency of the government. So do you think the response will be different?
Of course, it will be different. Because, if you even see their body language, they already know that, yes, this survey that was done by the NBS, yes, it shows that, yes, if it is coming from maybe an international agency or from the opposition.
Yeah, like we saw recently, The Economist said
exactly.
Lagos is one of the worst cities to live.
Exactly.
And the government was like, it's a lie. So I think if this is a more homegrown data, do you think it will?
Yes. I think the government has even shown that their body language shows that, yes, man, this thing is true. So what do we begin to do now?
So now, let's continue from that. What do we do now?
Yes. Just like when you go to see a medical doctor or your healthcare provider, first of all, they diagnose, you've seen the problem. Then the next thing is to begin to provide solutions. So I'm going to tax the managers of the economy, you, the media, and of course, experts like us too. We'll have to come down to a round table and begin to provide solutions. We have to look at the economy one by one, what are things we need to do, security, So we just need to go back to the drawing board and come out with economic policies that will begin to address some of these issues of infrastructure, insecurity, and of course general well-being of the average Nigerian.
That's a very good one. And let's now move to the second beat of the story that we're tracking this hour. It said stakeholders caution against more taxes according to the Finance Bill 2020, and they are saying don't look into more taxes, rather look at other proficient places that we can tax. So what do you make about this?
Yes, again, you can see that stakeholders are actually coming out. And of course, the media too is there. All these things are coming out. In the past, you might not see something like this. But you can see now people are saying, we've all agreed for Nigeria to improve our revenue, we must go to tax. And they are putting a caveat there. Yes, don't just tax for the sake of taxing. Tax areas where, yes, there is need to be taxed. For example, if you overtax the SMEs, you are killing the economy. So they're not telling you, tax some of these goods and services that elsewise there are issues. And I'm in 100% support of that. You that is going to consume certain product that has issues with health, then that means you consciously know what you are doing. So you should pay higher to consume those goods and so while at the same time government is able to generate some revenue that they will take care, in solving other socio-economic problem in the country. I think it's a
in a nutshell, you agree with
I agree with it 100%. It's very good.
Don't let's waste time on that. Let's go to the third story. Looking at the pension fund, the PTAD recovers £26.5 million from the United Kingdom. This goes to since the British colonial officers who worked in Nigeria. Wow.
Well, I was a little surprised seeing that. I say, how long? What has happened? Well, thank God the PTAD, that's a pension transition
agreement
arrangements. Yes. Well, yes, I must say that directorate has been following them a very good job. First of all, when the Pension Reform Act of 2004, as amended 2014, came into being, and there were some people they couldn't capture some people. So they need to have this transitional arrangement to take care of everybody. And you can see that going back to recover that amount of money for colonial masters who worked with us, and now using that money to pay up outstanding and pension issues in the country, I think we must give them that. It's a kudos to them, and I'm so happy that it shows that the managers of that PTDA, yes, they've done quite a very good job, and we must commend them for recovering those monies.
Recovery is one. They said they've used it to pay off inherited pension arrears.
Yes, now because
we still see people lying in queues requesting for their pension.
Yes, we'll still have issues like that, but I'm happy that they've told us they recovered. And I don't want to see where people who have served their country, senior citizens, for them to be treated that way in town. So they said they've paid outstanding, fine. However, if we still see those kind of people still queue up trying to get their benefit that is due to them, then of course that's where you, the media, will need to now bring it out again and begin to talk about it, so that the government will tell us, no, maybe these persons, they are trying to kind of do what they call an approval. They need to know who is still living. They don't just start paying money, because we have seen cases where persons have died.
Yes.
And because there is no proper documentation, they still get their payment. So they need for verification. I'm sure maybe that's why we might be seeing those things. But at the same time, as the media people, you guys need to query into it and begin to interrogate, why do we still have people coming out clamoring for their pension and all that.
That's a good one. And then we move to the last story. Germany grants 40 million euros.
Okay.
And today is the final day of COP27. 2 weeks of intense negotiation. So this is one of the outcomes we've seen so far. So let's have your overview.
Yes, I think, of course, being a sustainability advocate, I'm so happy with all the participants in that in COP27. We have seen a gradual improve compared to when you had it at COP 2026 somewhere in Glasgow. Yeah. Now, in Egypt, in Africa, because, yes, Africa has made a case, because we don't even contribute so much to the global warming, about 3%. And, coming to tell us that we are still going to spend too much money and all that. Yes. At first, I was saying, well, you take care of your environment. You don't expect people to come from somewhere. But since they have been the ones who have caused most of this damage, let them see how they can also rectify it. So the German agency giving that kind of money to African Development
German
Bank.
State itself.
Yes, German state itself, okay. Yes. Giving that kind of money, grant to the African Development Bank, so that most African countries benefit from it in terms of their climate adaptation and mitigation. I think it's a good one. Again, the question you will now ask is, How are we sure these funds is going to be deployed for the purpose in which it's bid for? Yes, that's where monitoring comes in again. We have a problem, and everybody, even in Nigeria here, we have seen the implication of climate change.
Yes.
It is glaring in our eyes, and nobody will say there is nothing like that.
Yes.
So those who are in charge now, once those funds are disbursed to them, let us ensure that the funds are used for the purpose of climate mitigation and, of course, adaptation.
Let me come in there. You said we must ensure. Now, we've been hearing that they're releasing this money, but are we sure there is like a mechanism to check?
Yes, if there's no mechanism, that's where the media comes in here. We've been heard of ecological funds, and we've seen what happened.
Yeah.
Because a lot of government officials, that those funds were embezzled and all that. For me, I would say that was as a result of ignorance. You know, some 10, 20 years back, Nigerians are not even aware of anything like climate change. But today, the average primary school child understand what climate change is and the contribution of what our human activities is contributing to making the quality of this planet not too good for me and you to stay. So everybody is aware. But I must mention something. You see, this planet we are staying, we did not inherit it from our forefathers or forebears, as the case may be. We borrowed it from our children yet unborn. And it's behold on us to ensure that the quality of this planet, the quality of this earth that we are living is maintained, if not improved. It's going to be an issue if we destroy the quality of this planet. Because, let me just say,
Let's land there and wrap.
Because
Yeah.
me and you don't have any other planet to go to.
Yes.
Maybe Elon Musk might have all the money to go to
Mars.
Mars and go and stay there. But as far as me I'm concerned, this is the only planet that humans are, habiting. So we will continue to maintain the quality of life in this planet. So those funds must be used for what they are meant for. Media, begin to interrogate.
That's a very good place to leave it today. Charles Farquhar, iBrand stockbroker and iBrand senior business analyst. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and still to come after the break, the NGX All-Share Index lost about 35.72 points, or equivalent to 0.08% yesterday, driven by sell-offs in Tier 1 banks. We'll dive into this when we come back from this break.